Welcome to Hollywood Today. In this episode, we're diving into a major royal clash that grabbed attention worldwide. In April 2026, tensions quickly escalated between Buckingham Palace and the House of Sussex during a high-profile event in Melbourne, Australia. Prince Harry made a bold appearance, taking direct aim at the royal institution. The moment unfolded at a large mental health summit connected to the November campaign, which brought together thousands of experts and leading delegates. As the keynote speaker, Harry didn't hold back. He shared deeply personal reflections, stating, "I had to go through a personal cleansing from the shadows of my royal past to become a better father." He also spoke about the distance from his son, Archie, linking it to what he described as a cold and structured upbringing under King Charles III. The most shocking moment came when Harry presented private childhood footage of himself alongside Prince William. The clips included emotional scenes of them walking behind Princess Diana's coffin, which he described as evidence of children impacted by the system. Tensions escalated further as Meghan Markle launched a strong campaign using her royal titles at sensitive locations like the Royal Children's Hospital, drawing widespread attention. She quickly faced criticism with accusations that the visit was carefully planned to attract big global headlines. Critics also claimed it doubled as subtle promotion for an AI fashion app she's reportedly connected to, just hours after images surfaced of her embracing sick children under the title Duchess of Sussex. Her social media accounts were flooded with a shop the look link. Viewers were able to instantly purchase her outfits, with reports suggesting she earned commissions ranging between 10 to 20%. Experts in London reacted strongly, calling it a direct violation of royal guidelines that strictly prohibit using royal status for personal financial gain. The timing raised even more concerns as Princess Catherine was absent from duties due to cancer treatment. During that period, the Sussexes carried out what some described as a pseudo-royal tour, stepping into roles typically reserved for working royals, visiting hospitals, and attending memorials, leaving the public uncertain. Rebecca English noted that this closely resembles the half-in, half-out approach that Queen Elizabeth II firmly rejected back in 2020. Meanwhile, reports from Sydney suggest that Meghan's luxury retreat is struggling to sell out despite offering only 300 spots. Ticket prices ranging from $2,500 to $3,000 triggered backlash across Australia, with many questioning why a royal title is being used as a commercial tool. The response has been intense, with critics calling it a clear move away from tradition toward business. So, at the same time, Harry's image as a spiritual figure is facing scrutiny. A U.S. think tank has called for his visa records to be released, raising questions about whether past statements, including those in Spare, align with official documentation. Some believe the situation could evolve into a legal issue by June 2026. Back in London, Prince William is no longer staying silent. Reports indicate he was deeply angered after seeing private childhood moments shared publicly. For him, that was the final line crossed. He is now pushing for a full legal review of how the Sussex titles are being used. A firm response is already underway, aiming to completely separate the crown from any commercial ventures linked to Harry and Meghan. William has made his position clear. Without full commitment, there is no role. This situation has moved beyond headlines and is now shaping into a serious royal crisis. Behind closed doors at Kensington Palace, the atmosphere has shifted from quiet tolerance to controlled but firm anger. For Prince William, the breaking point came when his image as a grieving child was publicly displayed in Australia to support a broader narrative. Sources say his response has been calculated and decisive. In private discussions, he made it clear he will not allow the Sussexes to benefit from royal privileges while openly criticizing the institution that gives them that platform. At the heart of this conflict is the half-in, half-out model that Queen Elizabeth II rejected in 2020. William has been working closely with legal advisors and senior officials to establish what he calls a final separation plan. This move goes beyond personal disagreements. It's about safeguarding the monarchy itself. William's position is straightforward. The crown must not be tied to commercial ventures. When royal titles are linked to major deals or promotions, it risks undermining the institution's long-standing neutrality. He has made his stance unmistakably clear. The line between public duty and private profit cannot be crossed. This approach has reportedly unsettled the Sussex camp as William pushes one of the strongest responses yet regarding how their titles are used. Although the Duke title is hereditary, William is said to be supporting a strict commercial cease and desist strategy. The objective is to prevent any brand, including Meghan's American Riviera Orchard and fashion-related ventures, from using Duchess titles or royal associations in promotions. His message remains firm and unmistakable. Titles are meant to serve, not to sell. William's view is that using them for product promotion risks turning a centuries-old institution into something resembling a retail brand. He has also addressed the narrative Harry presented in Australia. Through close sources, William has made it clear he does not accept being portrayed as a victim in this situation. While he recognizes their shared loss of Princess Diana, William believes it should not be used as an ongoing public or commercial narrative. He sees the Melbourne speech as a serious lack of respect and a move that contradicts the quiet dignity their mother represented. William frames his past in a very different way, not as trauma, but as experiences that shaped resilience and a sense of duty, sharply contrasting with Harry's perspective as Caesar. Now, William is backing those beliefs with concrete action. Reports suggest he has moved toward a strict financial and logistical separation. This includes ending any remaining royal security support for the Sussex's private travel and restricting access to royal residences, even for short visits. He is also reportedly reviewing Harry's honorary roles and standing, arguing that someone who openly criticizes the institution should not maintain a role within it. At the same time, William views the Sussex's recent public appearances as creating confusion, almost like an unofficial version of the monarchy. In response, palace teams have been instructed to clearly distinguish official royal duties from what William reportedly sees as celebrity-style engagements. His decisions are being driven by a strong sense of responsibility to protect both the crown and his family. William is said to view Harry's timing as particularly harsh, criticizing the king's parenting while he continues royal duties and while Catherine focuses on her health. For William, that crossed a serious boundary. And now that boundary is turning into policy. He is reportedly planning for a future where the distinction between a working royal and a private citizen is completely clear, leaving no middle ground for the Sussexes. This ongoing conflict has stirred division across Australia and parts of the Commonwealth. However, William's firm approach has reassured those who support preserving royal tradition. At the same time, reports of slow ticket sales and growing legal concerns surrounding Harry's U.S. visa are increasing pressure. William's strategy of clear separation appears to be gaining support. The message coming out of London is straightforward. You can choose a celebrity lifestyle or royal duty, but not both in a way that undermines public trust. Meanwhile, the fallout is expanding beyond headlines. Harry's recent speech has drawn deeper legal scrutiny in the United States, raising questions about how his public remarks align with his private legal status. That gap is now under focus as a U.S. think tank increases pressure. The issue centers on Harry's visa application, whether there is a difference between what was declared to authorities and what he has publicly shared in spare and recent speeches. Harry has spoken openly about past drug use, which, under U.S. immigration rules, can raise serious concerns if not properly disclosed. A legal petition is now pushing for his immigration records to be released, questioning whether any form of special treatment was involved. The timing is especially difficult for the Sussex brand. While Harry speaks about personal growth, critics are questioning whether the same rules apply to him as they do to others. For William and the palace, this situation is being closely monitored. Reports suggest William does not want any royal influence involved, reinforcing his position that private decisions should carry private consequences. At the same time, Meghan's push in Australia appears to be losing momentum. The luxury women's retreat in Sydney, intended as a major highlight, is reportedly facing unsold tickets despite heavy promotion. With prices close to $3,000, many are choosing not to attend. Critics argue the event feels more like a marketing effort tied to her fashion and lifestyle ventures rather than an authentic experience. This slowdown is adding pressure on the Sussex operation. Maintaining a high-profile image relies heavily on constant attention, which often leads to more appearances that can trigger backlash. The situation intensified further when hospital visit photos were linked to product promotions. Insiders say this crossed a significant line, reinforcing concerns that royal titles are being used in ways the late Queen strongly opposed. The palace response has now shifted from measured statements to a much firmer approach. Reports describe a clear strategy aimed at reducing the visibility that keeps the Sussex name in the spotlight while placing full focus on the official roles of William and Catherine. There's also growing concern about timing. William is said to view the Sussex presence during Catherine's recovery as an attempt to step into that global space, something he considers a serious overreach. The reaction hasn't been limited to the UK or the US. Australia has also taken a sharply critical turn. Media outlets there questioned both the messaging and the high ticket prices, with some suggesting it feels more like business than public service. The shift in public sentiment is creating real pressure. The image of untouchable global figures is starting to fade, replaced by growing uncertainty about their direction. With June 2026 approaching and legal questions still unresolved, the situation is intensifying day by day. If those records reveal any inconsistencies or signs of special treatment, the pressure in the US could escalate rapidly. Back in the UK, William is already preparing for the worst, taking steps to protect the monarchy from any potential legal fallout connected to Harry. The message coming from Kensington Palace is quiet but firm. The crown will continue forward, but not alongside anyone perceived as using its role for personal gain. Attention has now shifted back to Windsor, where the matter is being handled with heightened seriousness. At the center of it all is the breakdown of the 2020 Sandringham Agreement, which once defined the Sussex's exit. Reports indicate that William believes this agreement hasn't just been overlooked, but actively undermined. The events in Melbourne and Sydney are now being treated as a final breach. That original agreement carried one clear principle: no half-in, half-out approach. The late Queen made it clear that one cannot represent the crown while simultaneously pursuing private commercial ventures. The use of the Duchess of Sussex title in connection with product promotion, especially tied to a hospital visit, has triggered significant backlash. For William, this goes beyond simply enforcing rules. It's about preserving the integrity of the crown and the expectations that have defined it for generations. Reports suggest his response has been measured and strategic. Rather than engaging in public confrontation, actions are being taken behind the scenes to reduce the Sussex connection to official royal channels. One major step has involved scaling back their presence across royal platforms, limiting mentions and redirecting focus elsewhere. There is also a push to ensure that any future travel by the Sussexes is treated strictly as private, without official endorsement or recognition. The message is clear. When they travel, they do so as private individuals, not as representatives of the monarchy. At the same time, William is reportedly tightening access to sensitive archives, aiming to prevent personal or historical material from being used in future projects. By restricting access to royal records, he is effectively cutting off what he sees as content being repurposed for external ventures. His position is that the crown should not serve as a source for personal storytelling tied to commercial interests. He is also taking a firm stance on titles. While removing them outright presents legal challenges, reports suggest he is exploring ways to limit their use in commercial contexts, emphasizing that they are intended for service, not branding. According to insiders, William believes that using royal titles in connection with high-priced events distorts their purpose. This approach reflects a shift towards stricter boundaries, clearly separating official duties from private business activities. At the same time, he is choosing not to directly respond to personal narratives. Instead, the strategy is to maintain distance and let actions speak for themselves, while keeping attention focused on monarchy's role. William's priority now is protecting the future of the institution from ongoing fallout. Reports suggest the original Sandringham framework is no longer guiding decisions, replaced instead by a far stricter boundary the Sussexes cannot cross. Meanwhile, public reaction in the UK has grown increasingly intense. The timing of the Sussex activities in Australia is being heavily scrutinized, particularly as Catherine remains out of public view while focusing on her health. Many see this overlap as more than coincidence. Critics argue it appears as an attempt to step into the global spotlight during a sensitive period, adding to public frustration. Sources say William is deeply concerned about how this situation is being perceived. The contrast between Catherine's absence and the Sussex visibility has fueled debate, turning what was once a private matter into a broader national discussion. Commentators have described the timing as a serious betrayal, and public reaction across the UK has been strong. Support for Catherine during her health struggles has been significant, and many view the Sussex activities in Australia as out of step with that moment. Reports about promotional links connected to clothing worn during a hospital visit sparked widespread criticism. For many, it raised concerns about mixing charitable environments with commercial promotion, something that goes against long-standing expectations of public service. Harry's comments about his father have also drawn backlash, particularly given the king's own health challenges. Public sympathy that once existed now appears to be fading, replaced by growing frustration. The contrast between William's role and Harry's current path is now being discussed more openly than ever. There's growing pressure from sections of the public calling for clearer boundaries around how royal connections are used going forward. In Australia, public opinion is shifting quickly. Instead of the warm reception that may have been expected, the couple is now facing increasing skepticism. Unsold tickets for Meghan's Sydney event are being seen as a clear signal of that change. There has also been pushback against Harry's Melbourne speech, with some critics questioning both the tone and the message behind it. The perception that the Commonwealth is being used as part of a commercial expansion strategy is beginning to seriously impact their image. As this pressure continues to build, William remains firm in his stance. His view is that the crown cannot be treated like a product, especially during sensitive periods for the royal family. With the tour coming to an end, attention is shifting back to what steps the monarchy will take next. Reports suggest these events have strengthened the argument for stricter separation, aiming to clearly define the boundary between personal ventures and official royal responsibilities. The first major move in this final approach is expected to be a strict commercial lockdown. Prince William has reportedly argued that the half-in, half-out model has completely failed. Legal teams are now said to be preparing to inform global organizations that the Duke and Duchess titles should be considered inactive for commercial use. While removing titles entirely remains legally complex, the king could introduce new guidelines preventing their use in profit-driven activities. The objective is straightforward: stop royal status from being linked to product promotions or high-priced events. Another key step targets what some have described as a rival court. William's strategy focuses on breaking any perceived connection between the Sussexes and the monarchy. Going forward, their international trips may be treated strictly as private travel, without official recognition. British embassies are reportedly being instructed to provide no support, no briefings, no formal welcome. By removing that structure, the aim is to create a clear, invisible divide between official royal duties and private celebrity activity. Internally, this situation has reached a turning point. William's response to Harry's public narrative is a shift toward a more restrained and focused monarchy, one that avoids engaging in public back and forth. Instead, the spotlight is placed on working royals who continue to carry out their responsibilities. Figures like the Princess of Wales, Princess Anne, and others are being highlighted for their consistent dedication to public service, creating a clear contrast in approach. The message taking shape is simple. One side represents duty and service, while the other leans toward personal branding and commercial ventures. That distinction is becoming increasingly clear to the public. The timing of recent developments has also sparked broader discussions about the future. While altering succession rules is highly complex, there is growing conversation around stronger expectations tied to responsibility and commitment. A new proposal is reportedly being considered, requiring those high in the line of succession to fully commit to royal duties. This would mean no involvement in commercial activities that could conflict with the crown's neutrality. If implemented, it would force a significant decision: step away from business ventures or risk losing royal standing. This reflects a much firmer approach from William. His focus is on protecting both the current reign and the long-term stability of the monarchy, even if it involves making difficult decisions. As summer 2026 approaches, the contrast is becoming more visible. In London, preparations are underway for major diplomatic engagements, while in California, attention remains on legal challenges and shifting public support. What was expected to be a major comeback moment has instead created new complications for the Sussexes. The situation has pushed discussions about roles, responsibility, and the future of the monarchy into a new phase. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this interesting, give it a like and pass it along to others following the story. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates. We'll see you in the next one.